This is the sand, it's mixed with flour. It's 20 parts sand to 1 part flour. Then we're going to mix that with molasses water, which is 2 parts molasses and 10 parts water. So it bunches up on its own just sitting there absorbing moisture, so you know it's going to work. Using a very scientific instrument here, a Tim Hortons coffee cup, and all Canadians know what that is, and a few Americans too, because you have a few down there. This cup just happens to be the right amount to fill the mold, and it's survived quite a bit, so it must be made of pretty good stuff. And I just mix it with an old screwdriver. I don't know how the cup survives, but it does. This is the molding tool I made, and it has an inner shape. It's located with a nail. You can see the nail right here where my finger is. Very scientific, and it has a piece of scrap metal for a hinge. My ancestors would be proud. And of course, it has my old family name, and it says Donsfilm Pistons. So it would be in German, but slant 6, so nobody gets confused. You can probably just make out the D stamped right where my finger's pointing in the top of the mold. I mark everything now. I've had some items I've developed or used myself or made stolen, and afterwards people say, well, you didn't make that, and I know very well I made it, and I know who I sold it to, so I always mark everything I make, just in case. Mold is closed up tight, the nail keeps it snug, and now I'll pack it with sand. I set the molding box on the table, upside down. I know it's upside down, that's why you put names on stuff. Helps you remember. And the mold is tapered, wider at the bottom, and then I just take the cup, and I start pouring it in, wiggling it in, get to a certain point about here. And I take the back of my little screwdriver, and I just start tapping it. And I'll add a little more. And do the same till I got it right level. There's a screwdriver in, not quite to the other side, maybe 3/8 of an inch. I just measure it with my finger and stick it in, and it stops when it hits my finger. So there's 2 intersecting ones and these 2 here, and this seems to work well. And I tend to be results oriented, so when something works, that's what I use. I've gone around and just raised the top of the core with a screwdriver. It was brought to my attention that it might be a riser point, so I just roll the edge very slightly. I wet it before I do with the molasses water, because I find the ends of the core is where you have trouble. And it bakes out. Because it's near the top of the surface, it bakes, and you can actually see the difference in the color in the mold. Now I take my screwdriver and I stick it down in between the handles of the mold where I got a little hole. I'll start twisting. It'll pop apart. I got to use both hands, so I'll just take 2 pictures. So you can see it's got a freestanding core. It releases. It's got a couple seams on that sometimes I take them off before I bake it, sometimes afterwards. It depends if I think it's going to affect it or not. There it is, sitting on the table. And right there you can see the letter D. Come right from the mold. Pre-assemble it all. Make sure the distances are right, and I happen to have a screwdriver that just fits down in there, and there, exactly. And it works. So that's what I'm using. Not very scientific, but You know how it is. Now I take the steel shell back off the mold, just put the bottom plate with the sand core into the oven for a little baking. There she be in her new home for the next 30 minutes. Close the door. Temperature set at 450. Twist her to 15 minutes because that's all we got. So we got to do that twice. You might wonder, does the toaster oven work? Yes, it works perfect. Best $18 ever spent. And Mrs. D's happy. That's always good. When Mama's happy, everybody's happy. Burner's pretty simple. Here are my muffins. I make the muffin tin. Aluminum's already been purged and cleaned, and I'm just going to put a couple in the pot now. I got 4 in there now. It takes 8 to make a piston. If you watch, you can see it wiggling. That's the aluminum underneath it. The ones underneath it are melting and starting to settle in. I think it was alive. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. A long pair of pliers because she gets pretty hot. Just set this one right in here on top of the others. And when it disappears, we'll know we need more. Now we're warming the mold up. Starting to. It'll take a while. There she is. Spilled a little bit, but I don't think it's enough. It's high enough in the mold, it's going to be okay. Be able to see it gassing out the vent holes. It's amazing what comes out of there. Actually, looks like a pretty good pour. If everything's good inside, I think we got a pretty good piston here. I'm gonna start getting ready for the next one. Vent oozing from every pore. Another good one.